So everyone's favorite insufferable liberal, Chelsea Handler, is currently on a white savior tour to police comedy after the Netflix roast of Kevin Hart. And she is going to take down these racist comedians once and for all. And you know what? I hope she does, because that means we will never have to hear from her again. Because, oh, Chelsea, you're getting angry for things you've actually been doing for 20 plus years. So I'm sorry, Chelsea, but no, you do not get to sit on your high horse and call out people like Shane Gillis and Tony Hinchcliffe for being racist when you yourself have been getting away with racist jokes for your entire career. And so since she brought it up, she started this conversation, I thought that we could go back in time and react to some of her best racist moments to see how much of a hypocritical, unfunny brat she really is. Now, before we dive into that, which I'm so excited about, make sure that you like this video, subscribe to the channel if you've not already. Let me know your thoughts about Chelsea Handler in the comments below if I missed any of her moments. I tried to make sure we covered all of them, but she's been around for a long time. Anyway, let me know in the comments below, and then if you want to stay up to date on everything that we're doing here on The Red Cooper Show, make sure to ring that notification bell. Alrighty, so in case you missed it, last week, Netflix put on their roast of Kevin Hart, and in my opinion, like, these roasts are kind of like boxing matches. So, funnily, Netflix did the MVP Gina Carano Ronda Rousey fight. They also did the Kevin Hart, all of his friends fighting each other. That's essentially what it was. But at these things, there is a host. This time it was Shane Gillis. Then there is the victim who is being roasted, and that was Kevin Hart. And then there is a lineup of different people who are in that victim's orbit. Like, this time, there were comedians and actors and friends, and they all take turns getting up behind a podium and not just roasting Kevin, the victim, but also roasting everybody else there, because obviously just roasting one guy for 3 hours would not be that funny. So everybody gets involved and everybody's just slinging arrows at everybody who is on stage. And Chelsea Handler was there. She's a longtime friend of Kevin Hart. She was involved in the roast, and she had some big feelings. She had big feelings about some of the jokes that were made, particularly those that were made at her own expense. For example, listen to what Shane Gillis had to say about Chelsea.
She's a big fan of abortions. Chelsea's been scraped more times than the grill at Benihana. Speaking of tossing tiny shrimp into a child's mouth, Chelsea Handler went to dinner at Jeffrey Epstein's house in 2010. It's just a fun one. You can look it up, there's articles. It wasn't like a big party, there was like 7 people there. And it was like Prince Andrew and Woody Allen were there.
And that was how Shane introduced her and brought her onto the stage. But it didn't stop there. Draymond Green got on stage.
I never have and never will smash Chelsea Handler. I'm Draymond Green. I don't hit threes.
And then after that, Tom Brady.
And what happened to Nikki Glaser? She looks like shit. Oh, my bad. Sorry, Chelsea.
Yeah, so safe to say, Chelsea Handler did not like any of that. But what she possibly hated even more than the jokes about her less than apparent attractiveness were the jokes that Shane Gillis and Tony Hinchcliffe made about black people. For example, this one that was made about George Floyd.
You've done good though, Kevin. The black community is so proud of you. Right now, George Floyd is looking up at us all, laughing so hard that he can't breathe.
Now, there was also this joke that Tony made about a fellow comedian who was on stage, a black woman, about her husband who had committed suicide back in the 90s.
No, hold up, let me talk. Her husband committed suicide 3 years into their marriage. I've been sitting next to her for 2 hours and I have to ask, how did he last that long?
I mean, obviously, you guys are seeing there was really nothing that was off limits. And then last one I will show you is this one from Shane.
I've got a nice PG short joke that I'd like you guys to be a part of, okay? Kevin is so short. Kevin's so short that they're gonna have to lynch him from a bonsai tree.
I mean, I laughed. I thought it was funny. I also think half of the joke was just how he set it up and the way he delivers it, because it was just done in the most Shane Gillis way possible. And like, as you saw in these clips, like, everybody was laughing. Like, Kevin Hart was wheezing the entire time, especially throughout Tony Hinchcliffe's entire set. Like, the audience was like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe he's going there. And Kevin Hart was like doubled over cramping because he was laughing so hard. And also, the ones that we just watched, they were far from the edgiest jokes that were made on that stage. But Chelsea Handler, who already does not like Shane Gillis, does not like Tony Hinchcliffe, she had it. She was pissed off. She and her big tits were angry. And so she got up on stage after Shane introduced her, and she unleashed on those two men specifically. Just watch.
Now that your favorite leader is making the draft mandatory, I assume that all of you will be signing up to go fight in Iran. Or do you tough-talking pussies only go to the Middle East for comedy festivals?
I also love this moment because Tony is just like completely unenthused. Everybody else is kind of like playing along, groaning. He's like, I'm not even gonna give you the benefit of my attention at all.
Look at you, you look good. You got like a little Hollywood glow up. I didn't know veneers came in deli mustard yellow. But it actually looks a little bit better in person. You must be using Crest white supremacist strips. Tony and Shane, this must be so exciting for you guys. Usually on Sunday nights, you just burn a cross on someone's lawn.
I mean, what about that entire set was funny? And I only showed you guys like 30 seconds of what she did. It was essentially just her calling Tony and Shane white supremacists 15 different ways. Like at some point, Chelsea, the joke gets old, kind of like you. So maybe you should just sit this one out. Now, there's one other thing about that bit that I want to add. And I feel like this is where she has just gotten so off track because it's just about attacking people instead of being funny. Like, in my opinion, and I'm not any kind of expert, but I feel like in order for a joke to land, there has to be some kind of semblance or undercurrent of truth. Like that is why people go to comedy shows and they laugh and they groan, they relate to what's being said. Usually it's because the comedian is saying things that they would never say out loud, but it's true and they know it. And like that's my favorite type of comedy. But Chelsea Handler was standing on stage and saying things that were not even true. She's obviously angry because Tony performed at a Trump rally. She's angry because Shane makes jokes about liberals and will not come out against Trump. And then she makes that joke about them taking money from the Saudi government to go perform at that Saudi comedy festival. But the thing is, both of those men that she spent the entire set ripping into turned down the offer from the Saudi government. Neither of them performed at that festival. So was that just a poorly constructed joke? Like she was attacking them, but then moved on to Kevin, who did perform at the festival? It's just so crazy. Shane even made a joke about how he turned it down. Just watch.
A few months ago, Kevin performed at the Riyadh Comedy Festival sponsored by the Saudi government. They offered me a ton of money to do it, but I said no. Kevin said yes. The reason I said no was to honor the brave police officers and firefighters who lost their lives that day. Right, Pete?
And by the way, that punchline from Shane only makes sense if you know that Pete Davidson's dad died in 9/11, and yet Pete took the money from the Saudi government and did go perform at that festival. So anyway, moving on from that, back to the point, we need to talk about Chelsea again. She's the main point of this episode. Chelsea was angry. She was angry, screechy liberal woman. She was so angry, in fact, that she has not shut up about the roast for over a week. And now she's going viral for saying this on a podcast.
I knew enough about like Tony Hinchcliffe and Shane and their backgrounds. I had ex-girlfriends blowing up my DMs that had dated Shane and were telling me stuff about him. So based on that, I was like, oh, these guys are pretty bad.
So you had something on him that you could have. Tell us now. What shit Shane?
It's just everything we know, that they're racist, that they're bigots, that they're sexist, you know, that they think they're like invincible. I don't find those jokes to be funny. Jokes about lynching Black people. I find that to be gross. I found them making fun of Cheryl Underwood's like dead husband who committed suicide. Like,
a skin color.
You know, she's fine with that. If she says she's fine with that, she's fine with that. I wasn't fine with that. I thought that was disgusting too. Wow. But there was so much disgustingness that I knew it was going to be such a like gross vibe.
She knew that it was going to be such a gross vibe, and yet she still showed up. She took the paycheck. She got up on stage, even though she knew that these people were so awful, so racist, they're such bigots, and now she is expecting everybody on the internet to applaud her like seals, to say thank you so much for speaking out against all of this. But it kind of backfired. Somebody commented and said she failed to mention that they were hilarious, unlike her, which is an excellent point. Now, the best part is, she didn't just stop with that one podcast appearance. She also went on Don Lemon's podcast.
The joke that you told about Tony Hinchcliffe and going to the Middle East was, I think it was the most brilliant joke of the night. It was that look at the end that got me. He did not, I don't think he liked it. I don't know if he was acting, but that was brilliant, Chelsea.
It actually was not brilliant because he didn't go to the Middle East. He literally turned it down. How idiotic are you people? And she's sitting there like, yeah, I know. It was really fantastic and I'm so much better than all of them. She is even leaving comments on Instagram on videos that people are making about her. Like she left this on my friend Sabrina's page. She wrote, honey, there is no Epstein connection. I had dinner with him once along with a group of other people people. I have talked about this publicly in my special in the New York Times. It is in Katie Couric's book, As I Was the Guest. There is nothing to hide because I never saw or spoke to the man again. This was in 2010. That is the story. So, I mean, she is literally doing massive damage control. She is trying to deflect from the fact that she bombed, that nobody likes her, that they brought up an Epstein connection by just saying that everybody that she hates, everybody that she doesn't like is racist. And so now this is really where it gets good, because now that she is on this tour to defend everyone from racism and triggering jokes, people are bringing up everything that she herself has said in the past. I mean, if she thought that this was going to make people love her, applaud her social justice warrior bravery, she was wrong. Because ladies and gentlemen, this right here is the Streisand effect in action. And I love the Streisand effect. Like, maybe if I told you guys, don't look into Jevity, it's the worst, don't look at him, don't look at them. Maybe you would, and you should, because they actually are the best. Now, it is hard to be prepared for what happens to your body after you have a baby. Like, they hand you a pamphlet, they schedule a 6-week checkup, and then basically wave you goodbye. Meanwhile, you are running on no sleep, your hormones are literally in free fall, and everyone just acts like it's totally fine, and you just have to grit your teeth and power through, but not my team over at Jevity. Instead of just telling me that what I felt was normal and I had to get through it, they gave me an entire plan to get my health and body back on track based on their extensive blood work that I did with them, which, shocker, showed them that things in my body were not normal in the slightest. Now, most of these other blood work companies are really good at one thing, which is testing. They will test, 100 plus biomarkers, they'll give you a slick dashboard, send you a PDF, and then just peace out. No treatments, no prescriptions, no provider. Some of them literally say in their own terms and conditions that they do not provide medical advice or treatment, so what are you paying for? But here is how you can make that investment worth it. If you've already done the blood work, if you've already paid for it, just upload it to Jevity. It takes 60 seconds, and they are offering it totally free. Literally, you do not even have to put in your credit card info, none of that, and you will get a personalized longevity blueprint that explains everything and starts to put you on the right path. And then if you like what you're seeing, and if you want to upgrade to Jevity Plus, which is what I have, things will get even better. You will have a dedicated care team that you can literally text. You will have provider visits, RX access for peptides, hormones, actual longevity protocols, custom supplements made for you based on your blood work, and a dynamic blueprint that keeps updating over time. So if you're ready to change your life and get started, head on over to gojevity.com/BrettCooper and use code Brett for 20% off your membership if you choose to subscribe. Or again, you can upload your blood work totally free of charge. Check it out at gojevity.com/BrettCooper, code Brett. Now, Jevity removes confusion from health like Silencer Shop removes confusion from suppressors. Because real talk, suppressors used to feel like this whole mysterious, dangerous thing to me. Like you needed a lawyer and a filing cabinet, some kind of blood oath, and like 6 to 12 months of your life just to buy one. Plus, the government made you pay them $200 just to acquire one. Well, as of January 1st of this year, that $200 tax stamp cost is gone. And with Silencer Shop, getting a suppressor is actually not that hard at all. You create your profile, sign a couple forms, and they handle all of the other heavy lifting. Like that is it. It literally feels like it is easier than making an online return. And if you have not shot suppressed yet, you genuinely do not know what you are missing. It is so amazing. We use them constantly on our range out here on the farm. It is less noise, less recoil. It's way more fun. You can actually hear yourself think after you finish shooting. It is just way better in every single way. Plus, and this is the part I love most, Silencer Shop is not just selling you gear. Their foundation is currently suing the federal government to protect our 2A rights. They sell firearms, optics, accessories as well, so it is a one-stop shop run by people who are genuinely in our corner. Head on over to silencershop.com/Cooper for a better, more comfortable shooting experience. Again, that is silencershop.com/Cooper to get started and get shopping. All right, now back to Chelsea Handler and everybody digging through her past. There is one particularly viral video that is an old clip from when she was on the Breakfast Club podcast. And just take note of the thing that she might be doing in this video.
You look a little Samoan.
Not Samoan.
Samoan people are very slow.
Really?
Yeah, I had a Samoan landscaper once.
What?
Yeah.
What would a Samoan know about landscaping in like
Nothing.
California?
It turns out nothing, and
Okay.
that's why he wasn't my landscaper for very long.
Got you.
Yeah. So I did have but Samoans are very, well, they're big, obviously, but they're also supposed to, well, listen, that's not fair, I don't know enough about them.
I mean, that wasn't even a joke. She wasn't even telling a joke. She was being like, yeah, you look Samoan. And Samoans are slow, by the way. I mean, just out of the gate, she's like, let me just be racist. So, justice for the Samoan people? Am I right? Like, come on, Chelsea. But continuing on from that, somebody else, this was on X, posted and said, fun fact, one time on the Chelsea Lately set, Chelsea Handler held up a picture of a gorilla and then made a joke about how it was Lonely Love's family. This is a true story and it was told to me by multiple people who saw it happen. Jokes are jokes, folks. And then on Instagram, a former fan of Chelsea's shared her story. She said, I saw one of her shows in Washington, D.C. circa 2012. She literally said to the audience, where are my black fans? They screamed back, we love you, Chelsea. And then she responded, shut the fuck up. It's not like I can see you anyway. And I remember the whole crowd just groaned. Some African Americans rightly got offended. I guess the lesson here is that it's only okay for Chelsea to be racist in her comedy, which is very true. Obviously, those last two, that is a lot of he said, she said, but there is a lot in Chelsea's past that was filmed. Like somebody said, isn't this the woman who once made an Asian joke about Brad and Angelina's toddler? Yes. Yes, it was. And here she is on Jay Leno's show back in 2006 making an Asian joke about Angelina Jolie's adopted son.
He's not strong, he's not weak, he doesn't even know he's Asian yet. Okay, he doesn't know that he's gonna be a horrible driver. Or that he's gonna be amazing at doing nails. He has no idea.
But the thing is, Chelsea didn't even stop there. Now, apparently she was an old friend of Jennifer Aniston, who you might know was married to Brad Pitt before he left her for Angelina Jolie. And so because of this allegiance to Jennifer Aniston, she spent years publicly ripping into Angelina Jolie and their children. She called Angelina Jolie a demon. I'm not kidding. She literally called her a demon. She called her a mean girl. She called her a cunt, probably 50 million times. She mocked Angelina Jolie relentlessly for doing the awful, insane thing of fostering and adopting children. In 2016, she said, quote, "There are rumors that part of the problem was that Brad was allegedly drinking and smoking too much weed. I wonder why he would need to self-medicate. Maybe because he could have been spending the last 12 years at Lake Como hanging out with George Clooney and Matt Damon instead of being stuck in a house with 85 kids speaking 15 different languages. Oh yeah, and because he married an effing lunatic." So let's just recap here to make sure we're all on the same page about Chelsea Handler's worldview. In her mind, attacking the innocent children of a woman that you hate is totally fine. Blaming their parents' divorce on their race is totally fine. But jokes about black people in 2026, oh, that is a step too far. Jokes about Kevin Hart being black at a roast that he signed up to headline, where he was laughing the entire time, oh, that is just crossing a line for Chelsea Handler. Got it. So glad that we have now clarified all of this. Now, what makes this even crazier and just even more full circle is that when she was clapping back at Shane Gillis after he talked about her getting the abortions and being with Epstein, she had the gall to call him anti-Asian.
And Shane, just so you know, Judaism and Zionism are two different things. Kind of like how Chinatown and Koreatown are two different things, but your favorite slur works in both places. Shane has been accused of being anti-Asian, which is ironic considering he has the complexion and physique of a steamed dumpling.
Ah, yes, let's talk about Shane being accused of being anti-Asian. Maybe we should look into your own past, Chelsea. Maybe that joke actually works better for you. So now that we have gone through all of this, I feel like if I were to have some FaceTime with Chelsea, I would say that you kind of have two options. You either become the world's most clean, politically correct, safe comic ever, you apologize for all of your transgressions, you bend the knee at the altar of George Floyd, or you shut your mouth. You shut your mouth and you move on and you get off of your high horse. Now, based on my read of the situation, I would argue that I don't actually think that Chelsea Handler is deeply morally offended by any of these distasteful jokes. I actually think that she was just offended because she was the butt of one too many roasts that night, and that probably did not feel good. And listen, like, I am not an asshole. I understand that. That was probably not pleasant, probably sucked, but your reaction to that is nobody's problem except your own. You too signed up to be at the roast and get roasted. So why are you making it everybody else's issue? Now, one of the best and most redeeming parts of this story is that now that she has not stopped yapping, so many other comics are responding. Like, for example, while Chelsea Handler was out there being the white savior for the comic Cheryl Underwood, being offended on her behalf about the husband suicide joke, Cheryl was literally on Shane Gillis, the racist, the known racist, his podcast, talking about how she did not find it offensive.
For the people who are upset and on social media, I feel like you have a right to be that, because now I get to talk about mental illness in men, and specifically black men, that men feel, I don't need therapy, I don't need this, I don't need that, right, in this society. But people say, well, how could you sit there? Oh, it was offensive. Well, don't be offended for me if I'm not offended, but be offended for your point of view. And you can have your point of view.
Yeah.
We're not saying you can't have it. Have it all on social media. Because most people trying to attempt to do stand-up will never understand how it feels.
I love that line of don't be offended for me if I'm not actually offended. Like, we just need to put that on a billboard in Los Angeles and all of the blue big cities for all of the white savior Democrats. That is just a good message to hear. And of course, as we all know, this is far from the first time that Chelsea has tried to speak on behalf of the poor black people who just do not know better. Like, remember back when 50 Cent was toying with the idea of endorsing Donald Trump, she had to apparently remind him, who's her ex-boyfriend, that he was a black man and therefore he could not vote for Trump. But yeah, Chelsea, you're not the racist. And actually, She literally does not think that she is. Back in 2014, she said that she could not be racist because she dates black men. So apparently because of that, she can say whatever she wants. Now, back to the point, Shane Gillis also responded to her in the most perfect way possible. He gave a quote to the Hollywood Reporter and said, "This is a big moment for Chelsea. I'm glad she's capitalizing. Good for her. We're all rooting for her. Anyway, come see me July 17th at the football stadium in Philly." And that's just like the most perfect Shane way to respond, because this really is her just trying to deflect and capitalize on the fact that she was not funny, she bombed, nobody on the internet liked her, and everybody else was funny at her expense. So instead, to try to fix the situation for herself, she decided to be the white savior. Now, thankfully though, it does seem like most of the other comics who were on that stage had a great time, and they recognized that it was a roast that they all signed up for. They knew what they were getting into, and they knew that nothing was off limits. Like Jeff Ross, another comedian, said, "Last night there were jokes about very provocative subjects handled by professionals. It was a real testament to free speech because people were saying whatever they wanted. That wasn't just the conservative white guys, that was the liberals too. And sometimes you can't even tell who's who, and that is when the jokes have the most impact." And all of that is true. I mean, there were jokes that I thought were hysterical. There were also jokes that made me groan, that made me cringe. There was a particular joke that Pete Davidson made about Charlie Kirk that made me angry and sad, but obviously that's because of my own biases and feelings about the situation. But the point is, people said what they wanted to say. Barely anything was off limits, for better or for worse. That was the basis of this roast. And the only person on that stage who couldn't handle it was apparently Chelsea Handler.